Love it, love it, love it. Vape quality, exceptional. Flavor, still there. Hi everyone, so good to be hanging out with you again. It's Richard here, and today I'm going to be sharing with you the Russian 2.0. This is the cloned version. Of course, the original is by a company called Coil, UTC. You know, I think UTC is more the manufacturer and Coil is the designer. Okay, the original is actually available in the US for 110 US dollars. It comes in matte and polished finish. So what I have here is the clone, which is in brushed stainless steel. It's a 22 millimeter device. As you can see, it fits beautifully together with my Provari P3. The size is not the 91% what you call Russian, okay? The size is exactly the same as the original version of the Russian RBA. Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit more about this. I'm going to give you the specs, tell you how it vapes, and also things that I like or I don't like. And then we're going to get into the close-ups as well, so stay with us. Alright, just to talk a little bit more about the Russian 2.0 here, the clone version that I have, comparing it to the previous Russian RBA or even the Russian 91%. I don't actually own the Russian RBA, the previous version, the first version that is. I've got the Russian 91% here. This is, I think, the version 1.1 with the floating 510 pin, which I've already changed it because there was issues that came with it. I mean, the resistance started jumping all over the place, and eventually Coil also realized this mistake, and they actually did this replacement for free. So I've got mine changed, and this is the authentic version of the Russian 91%. So I'm just comparing this to the Russian 2.0. Of course, in size difference wise, the 2.0 is much bigger than the Russian 91%. It's much smaller, and some of the changes, it's not much though. If you've been vaping on a K-Fun or even a Russian, I mean, there's not like drastic improvements or changes to it. Just a couple of things like, you know, the airflow control that you have on the Russian previously was a screw that you know, either tighten or loosen to open up or close up the airway. Whereas for this, it comes with an airflow control ring right now, and even the fill hole for your juice. Instead of having it at the bottom, which is like your K-Funs, right? You have a little screw underneath there. Right now, it's incorporated into the airflow control ring. So in any case, we're going to get into the close-ups to have a closer look at it. Besides the fill hole and also the airflow control ring, the drip tip is also got a bigger bore to it right now compared to the previous version. So maybe we'll just, in the close-ups, take out the 91% and just compare it side by side and see what's the difference, because that's the only device I have, and that's an authentic version. All right, so without wasting any more time, let's dive into the close-ups. We'll come back, we'll vape on it, talk about it again. So stay with us. Close-up view of the Russian 2.0 clone version that I have here. This is the box that it arrived in, a metal box, no markings at the side or at the bottom, just says Russian 2.0 at the top here. And I have absolutely no clue who the manufacturer is, neither do I have any clue of whether the authentic version, the box is exactly the same or not. But let's unbox this. Taking off the metal cover on top, let's see what's in store for us. We've got a bag of goodies here, all the spare O-rings and also the screwdriver that we have, some Kenthel wire here, and also Phillips screws in case you lose those Phillips screws on your what you call device there. And also comes with some cotton as well, and you have a needle syringe juice bottle for you to fill up your juice, and also this stainless steel window in case you want to put in acidic juices. You can actually swap this with the PMMA plastic tank. Okay, so let's take out the device and put this aside, the cover or the box, and we have the Russian 2.0 here, the clone version, which is got its name engraved right underneath at the base here. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit closer so you can have a better look at it. All right, taking an even closer look at the device right now. Just looking all around, you have your airflow control ring here. This is something that's new that they've done, and it looks kind of nice. Aesthetically, it makes the whole atomizer look nicer as well, with the grooves all along here. Okay, and the grooves is pretty handy because you could actually get a good grip to turn. You can actually turn the air hole, which is 3mm in diameter. So when you want to turn it and close off your air hole, you can actually just turn it clockwise, and what it does is get smaller, and we will actually open up the air hole for you, the airflow control ring, to let you have a better look shortly. Meanwhile, if you just turn it, it will come to a point where you can hear a click. That's the click, and after you hear the click, you just turn it a little bit more, you will get to the fill hole, which is right here. So that's the fill hole for you, and you can actually put in your syringe or needle nose bottle and just fill up your juice from here. But what I don't like is, because when I put in the needle, it sort of like hits a metal underneath that, and when I'm pumping in the juice, some goes in and a lot comes out from here, so it's really messy. What I do, I fill it up from the top here, at which I'm going to show you how. Okay, so once you've got that filled up, I don't know whether it's my unit that this problem is happening to me, that it leaks out and all that, but if you do have the same Russian 2.0 and you have the same problem, please do comment in the comment box below. So that's how you do it. And even for the authentic version, I've seen other reviews as well, I think the ring turns a little bit more easier than this as well. You need a little bit of force to actually turn the ring. Okay, so if you turn it, it actually goes back to your air hole, all right, which is right here. Yep. So that's how it's incorporated, the fill hole together with the air hole. All right, so let's break it up and part by part and see what's in store for us. So the drip tip, when you remove it, it's removable, unlike the Russian first version, the first Russian tank that was available to us. It's all threaded, which is something like the K-Fun 3.1. You have to screw it in. Right now it's just held on by 2 O-rings, nice snug fit there, and you can also put in your own drip tip if you so wish to. So that's the bore there, which is a lot wider right now. Alright, putting that aside, we're going to remove the top section here, which is all very familiar parts. Not much changes to this tank actually. You still have that O-ring, and there's another O-ring around it to prevent juice from leaking out. So that part put down. You have your tank section. I'm going to remove this section here. This is your PMMA plastic window that you have here, which can be removable, just like you see. One part here and the other part here. And you can replace the PMMA plastic tank in the middle here with the stainless steel tank if you want to put in your acidic juices. However, I would prefer if this was glass, because nowadays a lot of us are using glass tanks, which is very popular. And next you have, of course, the chimney section. Okay, again, another familiar part from this RBA. So this is still the same, no change. You have your chimney here. And right now you come down to my build. So being a K-Fun style kind of atomizer, I'm sure you know how to do the coil as well. So I'm not going to redo the coil. I'm just going to leave the coil there and probably put a wick in there and then fill up juice. All right. So you have this air hole here that connects all the way to this air hole. So air goes in here, comes out here to cool your coil. You have this juice hole here that goes from that juice hole earlier. If you pump it in, juice is going to go from there out here onto your channels. You have 2 channels here and onto your cotton, okay, your wick. So that's the coil. You have 2 screws here, Phillips screws, to pin down your wires. Basically, this is exactly like the previous Russian RPA. All right, so that's it. Underneath right now at the bottom, this section is removable. If you want to remove the bottom cap here, what you first got to do is remove this pin here, okay? Because if you try to turn this, okay, with the original or the authentic version, you might snap the shaft in the middle there. So what you got to do is just remove this. This is adjustable, by the way, this 510 pin, if I didn't say it earlier. And all you got to do is just unscrew it. So once you've unscrewed this, you can actually just take it out with your finger. This is your contact pin. And remove this. You can actually unscrew it this is how the bottom cap looks like. Okay, you have this middle section here where the pin connects to, and you can also remove this as well and see what's underneath that ring. Okay, you have, okay, so this is how the ring looks like. Actually, there's some kind of a material to keep the prevent the ring from turning and slipping. All right, so that's like some kind of tape stuck to it underneath there. Okay, that's your air hole right there, 3 millimeters in diameter. The fill hole right here. Okay, and you have a serial number engraved on it, just like the original. And you have your air hole here. The air hole starts with 3 mm, and if you notice, there's this little so-called ditch, little small tiny ditch here that, you know, narrows down to this. So when you're turning, you can actually close down smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller until you have a small tiny little hole left there. But most of the time I leave it wide open, right? So, and there's a little like ball bearing here as well, so that pushes up against the airflow control ring to keep it snug and tight. All right, so that's how it is. So it goes in this way, right directly on top. Just push it in, clicks, and it goes in. All right, and next you want to put in this part, screw it back on, and after that you have your contact pin. There's a little silicone ring inside to prevent any shorts. Just push this back, and this screwed on 510 contact pin is really much better than the floating pin, which will give you, you know, a hard time with the resistance jumping, like what happened to the Russian 91 that I had before. So that's rectified right now. They've actually changed this back, the floating pin back to this kind of pins for that. All right, so meanwhile, back to this. Next you want to do is just put a coil on it. I'm going to put a wick through it. I'm going to use cotton for my wick, and all you got to do is just get your cotton. I'm using cellu cotton right now, and just put it through here. Pull it through, not too tight. A little bit of tension is good, but too tight will stop the juice from getting to your coil. All right, next you want to trim it, and I'm going to trim it right just until it touches the top deck. All right, not too much and not too little as well. Okay, so I'm going to just take it here, trim, and same thing over here. I'm just going to trim it down over here. That's it. Okay, so I've got some juice on it, primed it, and I'm going to just slowly use a tiny little screwdriver, and just, these tiny screwdrivers come in pretty handy sometimes. Just push it back, okay, and same for this side. Okay, next what you want to do is just put in your chimney. Put in this part. Okay, screw it back on, just hand tight. Okay, that will do. And next you want to screw in this portion. And then you have your glass window, sorry, not glass, your PMMA plastic tank window. Next you have this. Okay, of course we're going to, next what we're going to do is fill up the tank, and I'm not going to use the what do you call, fill hole at the side there, because it's going to leak out, so I'm not going to waste my time on that. But instead I'm going to show you how I would fill up this tank, just like the K-Fun 3.1 version that I used to fill up with. If you have seen my video, in fact I have a video on how to fill up with this. Before you put the top cap, this piece back, what I'm going to do is use a little chopstick that I have carved out, just shaved off the top side here, okay, and push this into this hole. Just stuff it in there so that the pressure is not going to go in there. All right, so I'm just going to put it there like this, and use my thumb to look for the air hole, put it onto the air hole there. Okay, and right now I'm gonna fill it up with juice. Just let me open up the juice bottle right now. That's how I would fill it, which is a lot easier. At least I know it's not gonna leak on me, all the while keeping the thumb over the air hole. All right, make sure you close the air hole with your thumb. There's no pressure. Okay, so once I've got it filled up to this level, I'm quite happy with it. Take this cap, put it in, and start screwing it back. So once it goes in once or twice, I'm going to turn this upside down, make all the juice come drop on this side, and continue screwing the entire section. Alright, then I'm going to remove this chopstick and the air hole and get my drip tip. Alright, still tilting it. I'm going to put it back in. Voila! And my tank not leaking anymore. Beautiful. Alright, and we're going to take a vape, get back to top side. We'll catch up and talk some more. Alright folks, when it comes to changes, not much as you can see. Only the drip tip. It's got a wider bore. They've got an airflow control ring now, which controls the airflow and also your fill hole, your juice hole, or whatever you want to call it. You know, so basically that, you know, it used to have a screw on the airflow hole there, and now it's just, you know, a control ring that where you can turn and slide and close it up if you want to. And if you turn it some more, you get to the fill hole, which I don't know whether it's my particular clone that I have here, or maybe I'm not doing it right. I don't know. Maybe you can tell me if you've got the same version. The fill hole juice leaks out. Okay, what happens is when I put in a syringe, I pump the juice in, it comes out. Some goes in, a lot comes out. So I'm not using that. As I showed you earlier on, the method I was using in the close-up, that would be much easier, less mess. Okay, that's one. Second thing that I'm not too happy about is the plastic window. I mean, nowadays everybody's talking about glass. You don't want to, you know, scratch your head and think, banana, does it go well with plastic? Is it going to crack my tank or things like that? So if they had a glass tank in it, problem solved. So just two things, two minor issues. The likes, what I like about this, the vape quality, it is good. Like your K-Funs and all your Russians, they're the same, not much difference except probably more vapor, and the flavor is still there. Take a vape right now and just show it to you again. Not bad. So as long as I don't have to use the fill hole to fill the juice, I'm fine with this. It's nice. You know, I use the other method, and most if I do get a leak, it's just coming out a little bit from the air hole there. Just blow it or something like that. Shake it off and wipe it down, and I don't get vape on it a couple of times. I don't get any more leaking until I finish the tank. So that is really perfectly fine. The drip tip, wider bore, it helps. It makes the pull easier and more comfortable. A nice area vape. Size and weight, if I have it on this device that I'm vaping on right now and not the Provari P3, then it does look a little bit odd and feels a little bit odd, because this device that I have, it's actually not the e-Li-Fi stick, in case you're thinking about that. It's called the Smart 20, and I'm not so smart after all. When I bought this device, I didn't read the fine print. This is actually a one-to-one clone with the e-Li-Fi stick, which I got from Faststack. It just looks like that. Anyway, coming back to the point, it's top heavy because the tank is pretty heavy, and this device is quite light. But then again, it still vapes nice, and you get the vapor and the flavor, like I said. So other than that, it's perfectly fine. Not drastic changes when it comes to, you know, this tank. And if you have been loving your K-Funs, your previous versions of your Russian, I mean, you're not missing out on a lot. Okay, so don't worry if you miss out on this. Your previous K-Funs and your Russians are still the same. They vape very well. I mean, it's a K-Fun, it's a Russian. In fact, at one time, a lot of people preferred the Russian 91, or the first version of the Russian tank, more than the the K-Fun RBAs, because of the airflow that you get from them. It gives you an area vape, and you get more vapor. It's more comfortable. All right. So basically, that's my take on the Russian 2.0. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing as well. Until I talk to you again, take care, vape safe, and have a great day. Bye for now.